Welcome back, all wanderers and ponderers. We are your hosts, NaVia
and Zoe, and we just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Excuse me, no coronavirus over here, but we do want to thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us every third working day of the week. Make sure you follow us, subscribe to us, and interact with us. NaVia will let you know where you can do those at.
You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and Buzzsprout at Wander to Ponder Podcast.
Bam, bam.
Make sure you go check those out.
Just thank you guys, and make sure you check us out. We can hear from them anytime, anywhere. Sorry, we're a little discombobulated today, but everybody has those days, so there's no worries.
Konnichiwa.
Wow, I'm gonna say Ogenki. That's kind of like I speak Japanese for real, but oh my girl, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I can't complain. We're pretty much just winging it at this point today.
A little bit.
Yeah, and that's okay.
We're gonna get the raw and shrill everything
today. Yeah, because we're talking about something serious. We can touch on the four psychological perspectives again. So I want to ponder. We pretty much talk on life-changing situations, focusing on 4 psychological perspectives. The first one being behavioral. Behavioral perspective really focuses on learned behavior. So, for example, I was raised in a single family home, so I feel like I'm independent. I can do anything a man does. So do I need that man? Probably not. I'm going to feel like, because I learned and watched that my mom could do it all by herself, so why can't I? So that's a behavioral perspective, just learned behavior.
Cognitive focuses on mental process like memory, thinking, problem solving, and decision making. And I guess an example of that would be any basic math or engineering class that you can take.
Nice.
Or when you're crossing the street and you have to look both ways and make a decision, like, I'm not gonna get hit today, or maybe I'm gonna get hit and collect a check today.
Okay, you got a Lexus? Yeah, we jumping now. We're jumping right now. The third perspective is cross-cultural perspective, which is where they focus on how a culture pretty much influences your decision making. It also focuses on your thinking and your behavior. An example for that is, I'll use me. I'm Jamaican, so we're pretty much one love, you know? We always lend a helping hand no matter where it is. Even if we're a guest at your establishment, your party, guess what we're doing? In the kitchen, washing the dishes before everybody leaves. It's kind of crazy. But that's a cross-cultural perspective.
The humanistic perspective focuses on the role of motivation in thought and behavior. It's what drives humans to grow, change, and develop their personal identities and potential. I guess you can say an example of that would be anything. No, okay, a good example of that would be, I say that there's a general ethical and moral code that all humans follow. And so the motivation behind that, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, treat everyone with kindness. Treat everyone how you want to be treated. So the humanistic perspective just focusing on how humans interact with each other at the end of the day.
I dig it, for sure. That golden rule is a little bronze right now, but that's okay. We're going to get back there. So, one of the Ponder's topic today is colorism versus preferences. So I pretty much wonder I wonder people's point of view on colorism and preferences, and if they believe there's a difference or not. Would you like to start, or do you want me to start? You kind of have like a...
Do you want to answer the question first, or you want
to? Okay, let's go ahead and tell them what colorism means. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Okay. So colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Prejudice, in case those may not know.
Yeah, I just threw in there really quick. I want to put this disclaimer in there because there is a key difference between being prejudiced and discriminating. Yep. So I just threw that in there to kind of differentiate and
Yeah, go ahead. Let me
give
know, let me
another
know.
topic. But prejudice is a perceived opinion or preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. And that differs from discrimination in the fact that discrimination is the unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people or things, especially on the grounds of race, age, or gender. And the key difference being here is prejudice is just a mindset or perspective, and discrimination is actually when that perspective is manifested outwardly and there are behaviors that is illustrating how you feel.
Ooh. Your word vocabulary be hitting, sis.
Thank
I just
you.
be like, oh my God, how? Where is she getting these words? Dictionary. Dictionary? No.
Just goofy.
Preferences. Preferences is a greater liking for one alternative over another or others.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna start off. So colorism, there is a difference between colorism and preferences, right? I always feel like me, right? I prefer a dark skinned man, but I'm not a colorist, right? Because if a light skinned man approaches me, I'm not gonna be like, oh, no, Chris Brown's over here. Sorry, no. We like them 50 Cent or darker, okay? Is there any Michael Blacksons in the room with beers? Please stand up. But yeah, I'm not gonna be like that towards the light skinned guy. I'm really not. So I do think, well, obviously there's a major difference between colorism and preferences. I just think a lot of people don't know what that is. So an example that I had a conversation with my sister about this, and the example that she brought up was, okay, cool. Every morning I wake up, before I go to work, you feel me? I grab, or I have the choice on my kitchen table, an orange or apple, right? And every morning I just keep grabbing the apple. That's it. I'm grabbing the apple. I eat the apple. I prefer the apple. That's what I'm going to eat, right? But now I wake up one morning and all the apples are gone. Now all I have is this orange. Okay, cool. The orange is still a fruit, so I'm going to eat the orange. It's cool. Even though I prefer the apple and the apple's gone, I'm going to eat the orange, right? So she was saying that was colorism, right? Like, that's where you're like, okay, I prefer a dark skin, but if I'm in a room with a dark skin and a light skin, then I'm going to talk to the dark skin person. That's just that on that. And I was telling her, like, no, that's really an example of preferences, right? Like, you're here with a dark skinned man and a light skinned man, an apple and an orange, and you prefer to take this dark skinned man. You prefer to eat that apple. So I brought to her attention that we now have green apples and red apples. And yeah, we eat apples every morning at this point, right? This is what we prefer. But then when you realize that you have a red apple and a green apple, and there's no more red apples, and you don't touch that green apple, even though you eat an apple every morning, that right there is colorist. Like, you feel like, yeah, no, this green apple should not exist. It's too sour. It's too crunchy. It's bitter. Like, why is it even an apple? Who would have thought an apple should have been green? Adam and Eve ate the red apple. So it's just like, shouldn't the red apple be bad? No. But that is colorism. Yeah, where you just, even though you've been eating the apple all your life or every morning before work, you decided, okay, now that there's a green and red apple, I'm still not going to eat this green apple because the red apples are gone. Like, this green apple shouldn't even be here. So I personally am a preference kind of girl. Everybody thinks that, like, dark-skinned guys and light-skinned guys are different. Like, light-skinned guys are, like, more arrogant, and then the dark-skinned guys are, like, more laid back and goofy. But I think you can find them in the two of them. I don't really think that their skin tone will determine that. And then you got some light-skinned guys that's a little ugly. Just ugly. Like, just because you're, like, light-skinned and you got these pink lips and everything, that does not make you fine, sir. And just because you have waves, that does not make you attractive, right? And just because you're dark skinned, like, really what makes you unattractive slightly is if we don't know how to moisturize. Because you can see that on every African American male that's a little bit shade, like a little shade darker than your coffee with cream. So that's like
Note to the gentlemen out there: don't be ashy.
Literally. Please. While we talking, hold on. But that's my point of view on the difference between colorism and preferences. And I think a lot of people confuse the two. So what's your standpoint? Like, how do you feel?
I would have to agree with you all around. To put it, I guess, into my own words, I would say, basically, to put it into my own words, playing off what you said, colorism is when I was gonna try to pretend like that didn't happen. But colorism is when you exhibit those prejudice feelings outwardly. Or I guess we would say you discriminate outwardly. And then preference, I guess you could argue, is somewhat similar to the, what word am I looking for?
I don't know, because I don't know what the dictionary. I don't know what the dictionary is.
Oh, okay. So preferences would be similar to, I guess, you could argue prejudice in a sense, excuse me, because it's a mind frame. It's a mindset. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like every single humanoid on this earth, you know, there's been a fleeting thought here or there that's been like inappropriate, or you're just like, oh, why? Like, would I? You know what I'm saying, in the sense. So it's like that thought stream and that cloud that's in your head. Overall, yeah, that's what I would say. So I do have a question for you, because I feel like, yeah, I just have a question for you. Do you feel that a woman of lighter skin can experience colorism?
Based on experience, I'm going to say no. Because there have been times, and like, I don't think I really got cute or preferred until maybe like 2011, 2012. So there used to be times where, like, in middle school, right? Because we went to a pretty diverse middle school at Prevail Academy. Shout out to that National Heritage Academy. Yeah, you guys did some good little morals out there, you know? But our friend group was really diverse, you know? Like, the only two dark skins were me and Troy, and then it was you and Tristan and Desiree, and then there was Madeline, you know? And then we had Angelica and Maya and Allison too. I feel like that was pretty much like our whole circle in middle school. And Taekwon too, like he's in there. That's my dog. And so I always felt like every time we went out as like girls, I would realize like people would go for you, Desiree, or yeah. There were times where we like went out with Para too, and I just feel like guys would just always like go to you guys first, and it's like a middle ground, right? Like we're not gonna talk to Allison first. Like we're just not gonna prefer Allison first if we know that we like African American women, but we're not gonna go all the way to the dark sky where Zoe is. Like we're not gonna swing over there, you know, we're gonna like hit it right in the middle, which is like you guys. So every time we used to like go out in like middle school and things of that nature, I did have like, I didn't think I was like ugly. I was just like, I was chilling at this point. I'm like, yeah, I can't swoon a kid. I can't swoon a kid with how I look, you know what I'm saying? And then I would have to like talk to them or I would have to talk to them, joke with them, or just show my personality. And I'm kind of like that already. So I never felt like you guys had to try. Not to say that you guys didn't try, or I don't really know if you guys did or not, but you didn't have to initiate anything, if that makes sense, right? Like we could be at the mall, and if we're in the food court at Taco Bell or whatever, guys will like come up to you guys like, oh, you're so pretty. Like, you know, like where do you guys go to school? Like, what are you guys doing here? And I'm like, cool. They don't see me. Cool. They don't see me. Even though the lights are on in here, but But that's fine. That's totally cool. So when we got to high school and we all went our separate ways, I went to a predominantly black high school. I went to Trailer Park Academy for my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. And that's when I realized, like, okay, there's some men that do prefer a little dark-skinned chocolate little shorty. Like, that's me. Oh my God. And I was like, cool. And there were some light-skinned girls in my school. There were some middle school mixed girls at Chandler Park Academy too. But I realized, like, it was just some guys that preferred dark-skinned women. Like, they went for that before they did the light-skinned woman or mixed girl. But no, I don't think you guys have that problem. Because even if you did have that problem, I feel like there's a way for you to get out of that problem, right? You guys can fucking tan. You guys can tan. And I was just like, all right, now they're like closer to me, but they're not me. So they're like, you know what I'm saying? They're better than they were before. So do you have that problem? No, I don't think you guys have that problem frequently. But if you do come across that, then it's like you realize, okay, I'm gonna go get a tan in the summer. And when I'm in the summer, I get all the hoes, right? Versus in the winter where I might get 3 or 2 in my DM. But the summer, we reckon 10 weekly, baby, 10 weekly. Like, and it's just that great middle ground of color, of skin, I guess. And yeah, so do you guys have to deal with that? Not frequently, but I think you guys do have your times or your moment. Maybe it's a self-esteem thing, or maybe it took you having to experience that to want to tan and things of that nature. But that was my answer to your beautiful question, love.
And to answer your question, I would agree with you. I think I would say the older that I get, you know, I'm locked down now. But just in my experience before then, and just like, I guess, dating a range of shades, it's never been that, like what you described. And I can't even think of like an example in my own personal experience where it was like that. You know what I'm saying? Nothing was ever really focused, on the color of skin, except this one time when we stepped out of the dating in the same race. But that was the only time. But I had another question for you. Do you think that oh, now I forgot it.
That's okay. I'll come back. We'll double back.
Okay.
Do you notice those things though when they are happening?
Like to other people?
Right. Or if it's happening to you, right? Like, so for example, we're just going to use the Party Next Door song. And he says, there's a light-skinned girl and a dark-skinned crew. Yeah, we see you.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So have you ever been that, like, and noticed that everybody's trying to talk to you, right? We're at the club and all my friends are brown-skinned girls. You know what I'm saying? All my friends are like dark-skinned, but they're not light skin with like curly hair, or they're just not light skin in general. So I realized that I'm the one bringing the drinks to the table. Like, have you ever been in that situation? And if you have, what was your like outlook on it? So, or like, how did that make you feel? Outlook is the same thing.
Are you saying, have I ever been the person to be, she a light skinned chick with a dark skinned crew? That person? Mm-hmm. Yes, in a sense. I guess if I was in the position, I feel like, okay, wait, to go back and make the answer simple. Yes, but more so when I was younger. Mm-hmm. I feel like the playing field levels the more we get older. And now being 23 and like, you know what I'm saying, experiencing people of different ages, as opposed to just being a teenager, I think things got more serious and more open-minded, and you didn't have that narrow mind frame of what we're talking about, you know? So, but to say, have I ever felt, I guess, like left out in a sense? Yes, but not because of the color of skin. And I can say that I don't think I've necessarily... No, you know what? Okay, let me tell a quick story really quick. Now that I think about it,
like
but
stories.
this only clicked just having this conversation. So this is totally hindsight. I never even noticed this like in the moment. You know what I'm saying? So there was like this group of girls that I first met at State, or that I met when I first got to State, and they were all primarily brown skin, one darker, no one light skin. I was the lightest one. You know what I'm saying? So everyone was like brown and darker. And so I would say whenever we went out to parties or anything, like there would just be more attention that way. But like,
Now that we're older.
who? The girls?
We're talking at the time that you're 23 at
No,
college,
I'm saying like when I first got to Michigan State
okay.
back in 2016. Yeah, like more attention was that way. So I don't know if I can attribute it to the fact of their skin color or to the fact that they just went there for some time and they knew people. But it's not to say that I never got talked to at a party, even being with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to say that I've been the left out one, like been ostracized. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's really interesting to try to put myself in those type of shoes, because I feel like you can never fully that's a concept where I feel like you can never fully understand unless you go through it.
Yeah.
Even
experience it yourself.
Reading the books, even talking about it, and through it like a psychological, preparing the tools, giving the tools to need to, let someone express themselves neutrally, you just never, that's something you never really truly genuinely feel unless you are put in that position.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Oh snap, I agree. And yeah, I never used to think I was ugly. I used to just be like, yeah, them niggas not coming to talk to me, bro. That's just that. Like, they not here for me. But it's cool. It's okay, because as long as my friend's getting the, whatever we're here for, then that's cool. And I'm not a jealous person either, so I didn't grow up with self-esteem from colorism or preferences. I just better understood preferences. That was it. So, if there's an apple and an orange, and that apple just so happens to be African American and the orange just so happened to be Asian, I'm going to prefer the African American, but if the African American is not there at that time being, and I have to have an orange in the morning, then I'm going to take my opportunity on having that Asian person. Why? Because fruit is fruit. Humans are humans, and their skin tone should not matter. Right. Some cultures, though, from a cross-cultural perspective, I can't even remember what culture it is where you have to be an olive color in order to get married and have kids and to be fruitful in life. And I was just like, what? And they were saying that was just like black on black crime in America, like how we treat light skins and dark skins, like the light skins, you guys think you're so much better than us because you were house slaves and we weren't, and we were out in the fields and getting whipped and blah, blah, blah. I shouldn't say blah, 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 like it doesn't matter. It's just, you can only talk so much about that and your feelings go nowhere. So, but yeah, so I didn't even know where I got, because see, now I'm thinking about that. And who wants to talk about that right now?
So do you believe that that's where the stigma came from, behind this notion that light skins are arrogant or conceited or think that they're better in a way, or even are in some conversations can be seen as viewed more attractively, even though that's not right, you know what I'm saying? So do you think that that's where that has stemmed from, that thought?
We just got a part 2 for this topic, because listen, that is a whole different conversation, but I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. You're the closest thing at that time, during slavery, you're the closest thing to what they thought superior people look like. It didn't matter who you were. It mattered who you look like, what you look like. And it's so funny that about I want to say a decade, but I'm not really sure because I didn't do my research on this. But the dark skins became the help. What happened to the light skins? Where did the light skins go? Were the light skins still the help during that? What year was that? I would Google it.
Ago?
Not a decade ago.
A century?
From slavery.
A decade after.
From being in the fields, from like dark skins being in the field to actually being the help, butlers and homes, nannies and homes, things of that nature. Oh yeah, we're gonna make this a part 2 because now I want to do my research. I feel like I have once before, but that was like 2014 maybe. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so you made a comment where you said there was a point in time where you dated outside your race, and that was like one time. So that's my would you rather question. Like, would you rather date inside your race or out of your race? And why?
That's such a
Can you say you're
question.
racist? Can you say you're racist? Can you say your ethnicities?
I was just about to say,
our listeners,
can we actually make a correction, because there's only one race, and that's the human race. And so we're technically talking about different ethnicities and nationalities and cultures. So
I love you, man.
Your question, I love you more. I am Black, white, Japanese, and German. So
you're German, bro?
Yeah. My dad's father.
Guten Tag, bish. Guten Tag.
Wow. But yeah, so both my mother and father was raised in Detroit, and that's all I've never known. You know what I'm saying? That's all I've ever been around. That's the culture I know, because my father was not in touch with the Japanese or German side. So, would you rather date inside of your race or out? You know, I'm going to say... That's so loaded. Because, like, I want to be that person that's like, oh, you know, it doesn't matter. Nah. But then it's like, based on my track history and my decisions in the past, it does matter. And there's clearly a preference there. So just the one time I briefly did, it was just, I just felt like there was nothing in common. Like, we can't listen to music. Like, well, I can't say that we can't, but it's just, it's more work. And I know I may sound like a lazy person.
We gotta get into details, sis. What is this? What is this opposite race? Wait.
Oh, they were just white.
Okay, so what were they? Sorry, what were they? Like, cause no, there's some different. Oh wow. So I had made like this psychological, really quick story. I had made this psychological project, right? Shout out to Miss Nardoni at Grosse Pointe South. She was a phenomenal teacher, a phenomenal woman. And I don't know if you'll ever listen to my podcast, Mrs. Nardoni, but literally this whole podcast came from loving you as my psychological teacher in 2015 and 14. So, yeah. So,
made the psychological project.
Thanks. Right. Do you think there's a difference between an African American, between being Black, ghetto, and being Black, ghetto,
or hood?
No, I think it was being Black, ghetto, or African American.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Right. Okay.
I would say there's a difference to Black people. And within our culture and our ebonics and our language and our meanings, I say there's a difference.
Right.
But trying to explain that difference and get someone else outside to understand the difference,
right, I
feel like is where the problem comes in sometimes.
So that was from like the African American culture, right? Skin tone, dark skin, tint, light skin, whatever, right? So there are different white boys, if you ask me, right? Like, yeah, like the preppy white boy. But what do we call them? Because they don't get called anything.
Now they're not based on ethnicities anymore. Oh no, because that's what you just said. You said. Yeah. Well, we like ghetto.
Right. Ghetto, Black, and African American. African American, we put like Ghanaian and Ghanaian, Somalian, Nigerian, into those, right? That was what I was focusing on. So yeah, like your literal African culture. Then you have the Black community, which are those who are educated African Americans with degrees and money, and then you have those who are ghetto, where they didn't have the same opportunity to go to college, so their ebonics and their word types during text are not correct all the time. And so when it comes to like white boys, right, you have these skater boys. You have the skater boys, the preppy boys, and then what other ones? Like then you have those. Then you have those. Right, I guess, right, and that's when we fall. Right, and so we have to fall into like that. So when you say that this guy that you dated outside of your race, that you couldn't listen to the same music, what was his character? Yeah. What was his character like? There we go. I think that's what I was shooting for.
Character, I mean, when we talk about, I guess, like, if he was a nice person, kind person, you know, obviously all those baselines were met. But when we could talk about physical attraction just wasn't there.
Really?
Like, no. It's a thing in my mind. I don't know.
You know, she's talking about you right
now. And
now.
I think this is such an interesting, because it's like, as much as you want to say sometimes, and I'm going to throw this word out there real sparingly. No, actually, no, I'm not, because this is the whole point of our conversation. So never mind.
Yeah,
but
get
anyway,
into it.
To answer your question, it's just, are you saying what didn't work? Are you saying what
I'm
didn't
trying
work
to
for
figure
me?
out what kind of white boy
Yeah.
he
Okay,
was.
so, just really about 25, 26.
That's how old he was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a sophomore in college.
Was he a Justin Bieber, Channing Tatum?
No, he was like a military dude, like a Channing Tatum movie character. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and thank you to all the people out there for your service. We appreciate what you do. You know, but we don't like America. But anyway, yeah, so it was just like, cool person, you know, he made music for fun. Like, I don't know if it was like, never heard the music, but I think it was like maybe like, you know, country or something. I don't even know, to be honest. But maybe that's it. Okay, but I'll say there was one thing that just made me not, maybe it was just him and his mind frame, and it wasn't just, I can't generalize to all white boys, but I had seen the movie, what's that movie with Kerry Washington, and she had the son, and the son went missing, the teenage son, American Son.
Oh, that was a good
one. I watched that movie.
I was heated.
Right? And then, so I was telling this dude about the movie, and I'm like, you know, that's so interesting, like, just when you are in an interracial relationship, like, how do you, like, and I mean on stark ends of the, you know what I'm saying? Find that balance and that common ground. And so he was just like, why does anything have to be about color? I don't see color. I'm just like, no, I'm cool. Like, you know, it's not that I'm judging that mindset or that opinion, but it's like, you gotta be in a space. You know what I'm saying? I prefer for you to be in a space and confident enough to talk with me, to understand, to empathize, or you would actually only be able to sympathize, but you know what I'm saying, because you're not in my shoes, you don't face this, but you have to be able to recognize those issues. And if you can't, then it's like, where do we go? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you got to go through those issues yourself.
You can't.
You know?
We can't. And I'm sorry. It's not me. It's you. No.
Right? So that was overall just, like I said, so maybe that obviously I can't generalize all Caucasian men, but that was just my one experience, and that was the one and only time. Yeah, I flirted with another white boy throughout college, but nothing ever happened.
I would rather actually date inside my race than outside of my race.
I never even answered that question. I agree with you though. That's my answer.
Oh no, you didn't.
I didn't, but I would rather date inside my race.
Yeah, no, go ahead. You can share. You can share why. This is pretty much piggybacking off of the experience with my boy.
Yeah, I just say there's I find more things in common. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that you have to have, because there are black people that I've met that don't listen to the same, you know, typical black like music that you grew up with, the 80s, 90s R&B, you know what I'm saying? But like you were still in the same
Around.
circle of culture, you know what I'm exactly.
Mhm.
And then so I would say that. But then I feel like that's really, it's bad to say almost. Like it can be looked at in a way, you know, through certain people.
That's a them problem, not a Navia problem, you know.
I mean, true.
I just that everybody's their own individual, and if that's what you prefer, that's what you prefer. And if you think it's discriminatory, that's because you personally in your mind know that you've done it before, and you knew that you were discriminating against the opposite race.
What about you?
I would prefer inside my race. Of course, man. I want little
Why
chocolate
is
munchkins.
that?
I want little chocolate munchkins everywhere. It just hit different. Like black love just hits different than any other love out there. It's like I have to give the balance while my husband is providing the strength, right? And I think that's why because black homes are broken up now, that they think that every black woman has to be strong, right? Like they must be strong. Like you can never let your guard down. You can never be vulnerable unless you're behind closed doors. Can't be vulnerable in front of your children and things of that nature. Outside of my race, I don't think they will understand that balance. I've had a Hispanic guy before for like 3 months, and this man thought I was supposed to take care of him. I'm 19. What are you talking about? Take care. What do you want me to take
Did
care
you
of?
tell me about this person?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have a lot of situationships, a lot of relations, but I'm not sure if I ever told you about this person or not.
I feel like 19, that was college, and
Oh yeah.
we weren't really taught. Yeah.
That one time.
Yeah.
That one time. But there was a time where me and Navia weren't really friends, and I thought she just wasn't talking to me because she was going through a lot in life, but no, she felt like I disrespected her. And
Wow.
you know, once you disrespect somebody, like they're not gonna tell you that they disrespected you. They're just gonna cut all ties, and you had every right to do that, definitely. But if that was that time, then that's probably why I ended up talking to the Hispanic guy. But like just talking to him, it was just that they don't get it. Like there's nothing for us to communicate on. It's different and that's why I always ask God to send me an understanding person, and thank God I found him, like, because I've been dealing with a lot of people that just don't understand it. Because they don't understand, they don't even try. But like my person, he tries. And so I love that. But anyway, going back to the Hispanic person, he just thought that I should always be the one like cooking and cleaning and taking care of him. Like I should massage his feet and I should do his homework or go get his books. And I'm like, so what are you gonna do? Go to class? Nigga, I got class too. What are you talking about? Like that don't make any sense at all. Then like we go to 2 different parties, and like imagine waking up in the morning and you're like cleaning your dorm room, I guess. Yeah, you're like cleaning your dorm room and you're like separating your clothes for laundry. And you know, like that good little Marvin Gaye, boom, 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 right? You know what I'm saying? You're just playing that, right? And then just imagine like your room door just opens, and I'm like, bro, you just ruined the whole vibes. Like Sundays are chill days. No, Sundays are fun days, baby. Come on. And then and I'm a person that's like, okay, cool. Like you want to teach me how to salsa? Bet we can salsa. We can do this right now. But that was that. And I just didn't like that. I didn't like that I have to do all of the hard work stuff because you feel like you're going to be the only one to make it far in this relationship. Didn't like that. Now, my white boy was in high school, and he was pretty interesting, and he was like a caretaker. Like, I feel like in a white household that the males, and Nolan, chime in anytime if you like, but I feel like in a white household that the male husband, boyfriend, whatever, just feels like it's their duty to make you happy, right? To make you feel comfortable when you're in their presence, right? But that doesn't mean it's genuine. Like they're just gonna do anything you say at that point. And so I feel like once they do that, then the woman is going to start to be that way as well. So then where are we our own individual people? Like when are you and I me, and then we come together? There isn't that in a relationship with me and a white man, at least. I can't speak for any other Black girls who may have grown up in a predominantly white environment and things of that nature. But for me, that's why I prefer to date inside my race, because I get that balance of individuality and
collectiveness.
Right. Thank you. Word dictionary. Yes, absolutely. Like I will let you go with an African American male. I feel like I can let you go do your own thing. And this is once again just me, and this is why I have my podcast, so that we can learn different perspectives, right, on situations. So me personally, I just work better with my race. And I think it's because we know how much we have struggled, that it's so much in this life, like it's so much in this world to just be like, okay, you have to do this. Like you can only do this and I'll do that. And that's just how it's gonna be. Because at some point, bro, you're gonna get tired of fucking folding clothes. Like, no. You have been watching Sunday football every morning while I've just been doing laundry for the past decade. Like, at some point, like, help me, bro. Like, take that 50-50, bro.
I feel
And
like
that makes sense.
This really falls under the category of cross-cultural perspective, because I feel like it happens where, like, take my mom and my father, for example. My father is, white, and my mother is Black. But because my father grew up in the same culture and around the same things as my mother, there was something to be collective about, a basis. So, and I feel like even when you get into looking at interracial relationships, like say in Britain, you know what I'm saying? There's a very diverse population, and it's like I feel like you see a lot of interracial couples, but because they have the almost like foreign background, like it's like you can be Nigerian and then a Nigerian will be with someone that's Swiss or Czech or something, you know what I'm saying? And they bond over, and I say foreign in a loose sense because I'm in America, but they bond over being foreign, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the collective, although it's not the same, one's from different places, it's still that like, okay, weird. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, when you take, I guess, a, for lack of a better word, and I use this word with a grain of salt, but normal, you know what I'm saying, white male and Black female from Western America or Eastern, whatever, but that lives and participates in the Western society and culture, is like, I feel like that's where you get that real light skin versus dark skin thing. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in other cultures and continents and countries, like it all differs. You know what I'm saying? Some people I know Macedonians really like are very, very within their race. You know what I'm saying? At least traditional, from our parents' generation. Not so much now, people our age, because it's a lot more lax, but even the parents pushing that perspective on their kids, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to speak if I don't know, and if I'm wrong, correct me, anybody that sees this, but I feel like that's a real big, like arranged marriages is a real big thing in like traditional Indian culture. And yeah, that was just the whole point. Like, I really feel like this conversation will be different if you could put this topic in front of two different people in a different country that lives by a different, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro, it gotta be a part 2 to this topic for sure. And I would love to have 4 different races. And I feel like we know a few people to where we have a diversity background. So I feel like that'll be no problem for us. But Yeah, definitely. Oh, there has to be because now I'm sitting. You can probably see it on the camera. Then I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm like, yeah, bro. In my head, like, yeah, exactly. You know, like for sure, like I agree. But I wonder if just wondering in my head as you speak, and that is that those were some valid points that were made, and I dig it. I dig it for sure. Me personally, I don't think people know the difference between colorism and I will speak for millennial and generational wealth. What the heck? You know what I'm thinking about? Yeah, for millennials and what is it? Generation Z. Generation Z came after millennials. Yeah, Generation Z. Who thinks that because I don't like light skinned men, I'm a colorist? Like, no. No, that's not it. I don't really think they know the difference.
I feel like that difference comes in when you're like, okay, I prefer light skin or dark skinned women. Mm-hmm. So say you prefer dark skin, or I prefer dark skinned women, dark skinned men, and I would just never ever give a light skin a chance that comes to talk to me. That's being, you know what I'm saying? That's participating in that colorist mind frame, would you say?
Right.
And then it's different where you're like, okay, if I'm out and like I'm looking like my eyes just caught two fine dark skinned men with the white nice teeth, you know what I'm saying?
Person.
The pretty eyes and all that. Like that's just what your eye takes to first, but it's not to say that, oh, I'm not gonna give, blonde hair, blue eyed over here a little chance because you're looking like a snack, you know what I'm saying? like you gotta be open, but you gotta understand yourself at the same time, Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people just never reach that balance.
Say that again. You gotta understand yourself at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, and I think speaking on this topic, I think my preferences come from
understanding yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it really focuses on a cognitive perspective. My problem-solving skills aren't like I don't tell them to you. I pretty much ask a broad question. Like I speak on the situation and the principle, and then I bring other examples into that principle and situation rather than speak on the person and who they are. And so I think I don't even know why. So my problem solving skills, that's why I said that. So it's a cognitive perspective for me as far as the difference between colorism and preferences, because having to have been dating outside of, I dated a white boy, a Mexican, and Black, and then in Black I've had light skin and dark skin. I just feel like I know what colors look good on me as a dark skin, so when I put them on my dark skin guy and we step out, it's amazing, versus all right, I look fire in yellow, but if I put yellow on you, it's not gonna work out as well as I thought. So now I have to think when I step out with this person and we go to what colors are gonna look cohesively nice next to each other with our skin tones. I will look fire in pink, and there are some white guys that look nice in pink, but it has to be a hot pink. It can't be a salmon or a baby powder pink. I just feel like it's not gonna compliment you how it's gonna I don't feel like it's gonna compliment you how it's gonna compliment me. And it's all right, bro. At this point, that's when fashion was everything to me. And knowing that, I'm like, dang, I like you. Like I say, I love you. I like you and things. But
so
I prefer
yeah.
I'm gonna say that I prefer my color scheme, which is dark skins just look great together. I feel like light skins and brown skins look great together. I do like a good interracial relationship. By the way, have nothing against interracial relationships, them happening or anything at all. Until we get into these corporate commercials and it's not a whole entire African American woman, but it's a a biracial woman with a white guy and this black baby. But whatever. We're not going to play into that. Actually, that can play into maybe a part 2, but that's just a whole different conversation. And I don't even really want like Wander to Ponder to be on like solely focused on political views of the Black community and things of that nature. But I did think it was really important to see where our head was as friends first before, because this is a touchy topic, especially because we grew up from middle school together all the way till now. It's like we've been through those stages of life, right? Like middle school together, high school we didn't, but you went to predominantly white, I went to predominantly Black, and then we went to college where, yeah, it was a PWI. I didn't go to HBCU, so that wasn't gonna make any sense. That would have been a lie.
You know what I can say, what I just thought about, like in middle school, is I feel like it's so interesting because you say you felt that way about going to the mall with me or Desiree, or me and Desiree, but it's like, you know, when I think back on it, it's almost like I don't think we experience colorism as light-skinned women necessarily, but I would still say that there's definitely like an automatic kind of sexualization that's associated with it, because I feel like I looked at you and how you were with all the guys, and like y'all cool, you know what I'm saying, like good friendships, like being able to laugh, being cool with everybody, when it's like, okay, I'm only cool because you tried to talk to me, you know what I'm saying, or we only cool because you tried to talk to me or something, and it's like we don't have that baseline of we really friends, you know what I'm saying, it's just, oh, you should talk to my friend or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and it's like looking at you, so I just thought about that and you saying that's how it was always for me. I'm like, wow, like she gets to talk to everybody, even the cute guys. Like,
and here I am, like, this is how I get them. Real man, bitch, I'm funny.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just like,
wow,
it was so interesting.
That is like really unfortunate to hear. That's a humanistic behavior, honestly, and I think that is just so crazy, because that's why I'm like, cool, you want to talk to my friend? That's straight. Like, I knew that was coming. It's no problem. Like, you know, and I never like, I feel like I'm a catch once you get to know me, right? And I think because I think all the time and I like ask all these little weird questions and stuff that people think you should not be asking no matter where you are, and I just be talking to anybody and everybody, I feel like that's how I get my people. But then I also feel like I get my people because I'm dark skinned and I got this red undertone to my skin, and then I have these high cheekbones, and I just grew into my nose and forehead, people. Let's get into this. Because baby, oh my God, middle school, high school is nuts. Oh my goodness. So I just like grew into this whole thing. Like, my smile was nice, but then my nose was big. So mind you, I just grew into my nose and forehead. So I just always felt like if I wasn't going to be talked to first, then that's cool. I'll be a wingman. And from this point on, like, I've just always been a wingman. And so I think it's just so funny, like when I bring like my male friends around and things of that nature, like people be like, oh, y'all date, oh, y'all talk, oh, y'all should, or girls get to apologize and like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that was your man. What? No, like, no, I'm here for you. He wants you. Let's go over there. Like, I'm gonna be your friend. Like, and so that's crazy that you made that point, because now that I think about it, it's like, yeah, they do. Would only talk to you for sexualization. Like, they want to. I mean, even though like you guys are really, really cool, but like they have to get past your beauty first. For me,
Zoe, stop. Don't even finish it.
Me, they're like, hey, she funny, bro. She kind of cute. I'm like,
but see, I feel like you also give that, you show that initially, like more so than I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna have to go out with me a couple times, have a few conversations about a few different things to really even just get like a glimpse of my
mental
perspective. You know, my mental.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, not saying you just put it all out there at once or nothing, but you're more open with that initially, no matter if you know the person or not. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, me, I'm just gonna like, you can sit over there while I sit over here, and we'll see how it goes. And we just inch closer. You're just like, hey, how's it going? Like, how are you?
Yeah.
You know, like, and
a personal bubble. Do they really exist?
so I feel like being
Excuse me.
in another, like putting myself in another perspective, in a man's perspective, when looking, it's like, okay, that's where you build that friendship first. No, it doesn't initially come along. Maybe, or I'm gonna say no, but maybe it doesn't initially start with like, okay, I want to date this person. But I feel like that's how shit lasts.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with the friendship, really getting to know a person before you decide, oh, I want to commit the rest of my life. But you know, that's that. And yeah.
That should.
Yeah, there's like a lot of subtopics.
Topics are coming.
Okay, last question, and then we'll wrap it up. When is it okay to have preferences?
Ooh. When is it okay to have preferences? Oh, shit, I'm thinking of a lot of things. It's like, at what age do you think you should get married? Or is it okay to get married? Okay, one more time.
When is it okay or not okay to have preferences?
It's always okay to have preferences.
Through your career, love life,
Yeah.
social life.
When you have preferences, that's something that works for you. And to me, every bit of you, mentally, physically, emotionally.
Do you think preferences is synonymous? Why do I keep forgetting my last thought? It was so good.
Okay,
Never mind, continue talking.
You're answering the first question yourself. I think that's what it is for me sometimes. I lose my train of thought. I'm like answering the question myself as I ask it. But you'll get it. Yeah, preferences is something that works best for you. That's why am I talking about this right now? I mean, why am I thinking about it? Because I didn't say anything. But coffee, right? Then there's tea, right? Whatever coffee do for y'all does not do for me, bro. I don't know how. The smell, I don't like it. No, not at all. No, it's just like, why are you here? Why are you in the cup? Whatever, the caffeine. I love tea. I love the leaves. I love the aromas of tea. I love it whether it's hot or cold. I love what it does for my body. I can also have it with caffeine. So now I feel like I'm getting the best of both worlds where it's just coffee. It's like the only thing I can do is add flavor to you. I have to add sugar. I have to add cream. Why?
Yeah. Your additions is limited. Yeah. I feel like you could put milk in tea. You could put spices in tea.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could put all different types of fruits.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're getting it. So I'm not.
Good
Analogy. I love analogies. It's always gonna be okay to have preferences. If I'm at work and I prefer, yeah, go ahead. You want to use?
Do you think that preferences is synonymous with standards?
So, what the hell does synonymous mean?
It means like, do you think?
What is that? No, that is sexual intercourse when you're in the 5th grade. Oh, together. Okay.
Do you think it means the same thing, basically? Like it's interchangeable, like the word.
Okay, let's start over. Let's dumb it down for the high one in the room.
Do you think that preferences and standards can be the same thing? I'm touching on the table. Oops.
Do I think that preferences and standards can be the same thing? Ooh, another subtopic. Ah, man. Do I think preferences and standards could be the same thing? No. I think there's a difference between preferences and standards. a standard is like the highway, like it's my way or the highway, right? I prefer to sit at this desk every day that I come to work. This is my cubicle. Even though, oh no, let's use high schools. Let's use high school, right? In high school, we didn't have assigned seats, but in middle school, we had assigned seats, right? Now in high school, we don't have assigned seats, but just because you've been sitting next to Jacob for the last 2 months since school started, you're now expecting to sit next to Jacob every day you go into science class, right? However, I just transferred into this AP chemistry class, and oh shit, Jacob is in here. Bet. You feel me? I prefer to sit next to Jacob because Jacob's the only kid I know in this AP chemistry class, right? I'm going to try and sit next to Jacob, right? Now, I lost my whole little example. Now, if you've been sitting in this exact seat for the last 2 months next to Jacob, you became accustomed to Jacob, right? You realize sitting next to Jacob, okay, bet I've been getting an A on every single project. We work well together. Cool. My person has to be Jacob. The last 2 months, I haven't even sat across the class. I haven't sat next to Donovan. I haven't sat next to James or anything, right? So even though I see them getting A's and B's, it's like they're not Jacob, bro. So no. So there is a difference between standards and preferences. But that analogy was like they kind of go hand in hand. Like
I think in certain situations it can be
think of a situation
the
now.
same.
Or where it's different. Think of a situation where preferences and standards are different. Because it was different until I literally said it out loud and was like, technically, that's still you preferring to sit next to Jacob.
I would say an example. Well, I can iterate it. I would say, like, if you have a preference, it's like, all right, you like, okay, for 2 months, you've been sitting in the same seat, but you come into class one day and that seat is not available. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have a preference to sit in that seat, but it's not going to fuck my whole day up if I got to sit in a different seat. But I feel like a standard is like, okay, my seat ain't available. I'm not sitting nowhere else. I'm going to fight you to get you out of my seat. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no room. There's no wiggle room. There's no exceptions.
I got it.
You know what I'm saying?
I got where I was going with the whole classroom thing.
Okay.
So, there is difference between preferences and standards. Like you said, in certain situations, right? So, if we're in class, and like you said, that seat that you've been sitting in the last 2 months that you prefer to sit in is not available, right? Here's where the standard comes into play. I can't sit in the back of the class. That chair that I've been sitting in for the last 2 months is in the front of the class. I found out I am more productive in the front of the class than I am in the back of the class. Why? Because Jason's in the back of the class acting a muck. I'm just cut up with him, be in the back, writing, laughing, kikiing, and all that stuff, instead of being in the front where there's no distractions. So if I know that I want to be successful and I have to pass this AP chemistry class in order to go to Michigan State University to study biology, that's my standard right there. Like, I have to sit in front of the class. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. So, teacher, I need that front seat. And you changed our seat this month because you want us to talk to whomever, but I can't be in the back of the class. I'm sorry. And that's a standard, baby. It's not that I prefer not to sit in the back, or I prefer to sit in the front, but I must sit in the front. Like, there is no back of the class. Right. Who looks behind them? What? No.
We Rosa Parks.
So, no. Hell no. I'm not sitting in the back of the class. No. Absolutely not.
Real quick, when did we start? How are we looking on time? Cool. You want to round it out with the lyric pick?
Yeah.
All right, cool. You go first. So I'm going to ask you, Zoe, to pick a lyric that plays into the topic of today's discussion and or your perspective, your psychological perspective that it may fall under.
I'm I'm going to choose, hey, I am not my hair. I am not my skin. I am not your expectations. No. What? Like, yeah, I'm gonna say India Irie. I am not my hair. Because that's just not who I, like, what did she say? Well, she say I am an existing something. She says something about her being an existing soul. And yeah. Sorry. I'm like thinking of all of it.
You're just saying why.
Thinking of all that. Right. So why that is my song, my lyric, my song and lyric to go at the topic, is because psychologically, from a humanistic perspective, I just want to make sure I'm thinking what I'm thinking is correct. So the humanistic perspective focuses on the role of motivation and thought and behavior. It also is what drives humans to grow, change, and develop their personal potential. I may not be light skin, with like curly hair. I may not be brown skin and get my hair done all the time, because if you know me, like, I don't care about my hair. I just don't. I pretty much let it do whatever. And it's not that I prefer to have my hair like this way or that way. It's just whatever I feel, whatever I do, whatever I am at that time being is what you're getting. Mm-hmm. So for me, the India Irie, I am not my hair, plays into preferences. At this time, I prefer to, in the wintertime, I prefer to wear wigs. I prefer to have weave and long hair. In the summer, I prefer my teeny weeny afro. I prefer scarves on my head during like the fall or the springtime. And yeah, you shouldn't like not like me because I do those things. I don't know. Because my soul is beautiful, and my soul doesn't have one identity. Yeah. It's not a teeny weeny afro everywhere I go. It's not a scarf everywhere I go. It's not long straight Brazilian hair 30 inches past my high knee. It's not that all the time. So that would be my song, and it would be to me and how I change and grow to my full potential. Mm-hmm. Self-growth has been amazing these last few months, for real.
I can
not gonna lie, but that's my song. What's your song?
So I'm gonna go with, should I sing it first or should I say the name first?
Sing it. Well, I sung it because I liked it. Like, you can sing it.
I can't sing. So I can't sing. I'm gonna say Party Next Door, Girl from Oakland, when he says 5'5" of pure sexy. I see you. Heard a bitch wanna be you. Heard a nigga wanna meet you. I get them both in my city, or booked them at one of them.
I get them booked in my city.
Booked in my city. And yeah, that just really plays onto the perspective or the topic of preferences, because your girl is 5'5" here, so.
And pure sexy.
Sorry, no. But yeah, that's my song and my lyric.
Mm-hmm. I dig it. Oh my gosh. This is really well. I feel like, just before we end, I feel like I've always, like, every time I like been out with you, I just know guys are gonna shoot for you first, bro, because you're just cold. Like, you are just cold. Like, your whole look, your whole ensemble is just cold. So, but then at the same time, I like really want you to be happy, right? So I never liked, I don't feel like we go out for guys. I don't feel like we get dressed up for guys. I don't feel like we go looking for guys either. I feel like they just come. However, if we're in the same facility, right, I notice that they're gonna shoot their shot with you, and then you also help me realize that it may be from a sexualization point of view, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But I used to think like, man, these people are colors, bro. Like, they don't like dark skin. Like, they don't like dark skin girls. They don't like black girls, but then it was a whole time, sis, where your whole like vibes was, what was it, 2012 to probably 2014, where Blasian girls was a thing. Like, it was just a thing. And then y'all started dyeing y'all hair like blonde, burgundy, and green, and like navy blue. And I'm like, what the fuck I'm gonna look like with that shit? Like, but like, I really was like, no dark-skinned girl can dye their hair, bro. Like, they just gonna look ghetto. They gonna look ghetto. And then people's gonna be like, she ghetto, and I'm talking to her. And I'm just gonna be like, bro. But
you are not your hair.
Right? And I'm not my skin, you know? And I think nowadays, now that we're getting older, because you did touch base on age, now that we're getting older, I think people are starting to realize like there is more to a person than just what they look like.
Yeah. And that's heavy, not even just skin color,
and race.
Like just everything physical.
And race, I'm sorry, and ethnicity and nationality.
Right. Correction, asterisk, typo. But yeah, if you want to round it out, thank the people.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us speak our personal point of views and experiences dealing with colorism and preferences, mainly preferences, because I don't think I've never experienced colorism, honestly, just what I realize guys prefer. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. If you guys have any like follow-up questions, feel free to interact with us on YouTube in the comments if you want. And our Instagram too. We actually post on our Instagram things related to our topic. Whether it's memes, whether it's just a picture. We probably speak on situations and examples. And we leave it for you to comment on them. So yeah. If you want to be on our podcast, we're totally down. Open to anybody and everybody. Free judgment. Sorry, no judgment.
Get it free.
No judgment. No judgment at all. Yeah, this is just a place where you can like really be you and speak on you and who you are. There's no right or wrong answers here. Just wondering and pondering, you know? Just so you guys know, like really quick, to me, there's a difference, and maybe this can be a topic if you like or not, but to me, there's a difference between wondering and thinking, right? Like if you think, then you're assuming an outcome, right? Where you're wondering, like when you're wondering, it's like, okay, this could happen, or this could happen, or this can happen, and I won't know until I do what I'm asking. So, yeah. That was us. Yeah, we should make that a topic for sure.
Definitely. Well, you can find us on Buzzsprout. That was so loud. You can find us on Buzzsprout, Instagram, like she said, and YouTube. We will be uploading every Wednesday. You can see all videos there on YouTube, and our audio files are on Buzzsprout. And thanks for watching, guys. Like ew. Let us know, like, comment, share, subscribe. Even if you have a different opinion on the topic that we touched on today, or you want to add, or we didn't talk about something, definitely DM us, let us know. And yeah, thank you again.
We gotta get a handshake, like
right
when
like
we leave, like
something.
Up, give it a high five. You know, like what was that TV show, the Wayans Brothers?
Yeah.
Love you, man.
Love you.